breaker, taking credit as an educator. I've been known to spit the flows and make it shaky, shaky thing. Popping, locking, stopping, let it hang. Watch us as we drop this hip hop, it's like it stings. We make the whole room drop and everybody sing. We want the funk. We gotta have that funk. We kick it old school, we think we're so cool. We take it back to the past, we gonna act a fool. Enough jumps, the middle finger make mine.
Hello, and welcome to Sports Buzz, the Fanatical View. I am your host, Scott D. Lewis, here live in studio, Comcast Cable Channel 23, downtown Danbury, Connecticut, on this late July 23rd day. And we are here in studio for a half hour, so the phone lines are open. 203-792-4101 is the number. It was a lovely day. We've had some high humidity this past week or so, but the last couple days
brutal for a couple of them days.
Very, very nice. So we are here back live, and this is our last live show for quite a while.
Yeah, they're going into another hiatus for
the powers that be, Bob.
Yes.
What's the deal? Keeping us from going live. So we are going live. So you know what that means?
Yes.
We're going ham on this episode.
Yes.
Hard as a what? Shut your mouth. Just talking about Sports Buzz.
Yeah.
All right. So that is our right-hand man, Bob Broad Jr., as you hear him.
I'm back from having some time off.
Where were you, Bob? Remember, this is a family show. People are eating dinner.
Let's just say I had some tests done.
And hopefully those test results come back well. That's what we always hope for Big Bob, my right-hand man. His show, Spotlight, on Tuesday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 12. Mike Toohey is in there almost flying solo. We got the production assistant extraordinaire, Connor Faco, in there, but no McFadden, no Strange Man tonight. So Connor really has to step up his game.
Right.
He's going ham in there as well, I think. Running the board, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. So, but Mike's show, Expose Cinema, Friday nights at 9, Wednesdays at 1. There's the number, 203-792-4101.
Please call in.
Let's see if we can get a few phone calls.
Yeah.
All right, before we get into the show entirely, I want to talk about the musical happenings of the past week. We were promoting it last week, the last couple weeks. You hear Fatty Roots in the background on this show. We know that Mikey Dread, a.k.a. Sugar Summers, is now in a new band called Black Rock Social, and they were down at the Bacon and Brew Fest this past weekend right down there on the Danbury Green. There was plenty of pork products going on down there, but they were the ones who were going ham in this show. They were hard for sure. If this, Bob, I will say, if this was an actual battle of the bands,
yes,
it would have been an unfair fight.
Yeah.
Black Rock Social destroyed everybody on stage. These guys came out and just blew the crowd away.
Were they the lead act, or?
They were the third band. Couple regular, basic rock and roll cover bands played early. Weren't doing anything special. Next thing you know, here comes Black Rock Social, and Mikey Dread gets up there and gets people in Danbury to get up out of their seat, move to the front of the stage. Place went nuts, and they really rocked it. It was a TKO. No bands on that stage had a chance when they came out, and they did their thing. And it was a great day. That was a hot day. Let me tell you, it was a hot day, and there was beers were flowing. I didn't see much of the bacon. I saw a lot of the beer.
Well, more beer than pork,
I should have eaten more beer or more bacon. I had a little bit. Beers were going down fast. There we see them from last night. Yes, maybe I went out and saw them again last night. So we'll see if I can get through this 30 minutes after a late night with Black Rock Social.
What time did you get in the early hours?
Those records are sealed, Bob. We'll keep those. We keep that private. Late night in Bridgeport.
Oh.
They keep you out late in Bridgeport, I tell you. But I'll make it through. I've made it through the day. I'll make it through the show. Black Rock Social. So out of that show, they ended up getting booked. Daryl Hall's place, Daryl's house, the Old Town Crier in Paterson, New York. So they are playing there this Sunday afternoon. Things are happening for Black Rock Social, let me tell you. So we're very excited about that. They sound great if you want to check them out. Good reggae. They play like a funky style reggae, jam band style reggae. So they play some of the classic roots reggae, but they have a different twist. So it's upbeat. It's a good time. Very good time. So
you said they're heading into the studio soon too, right?
And maybe we'll get some studio material. Maybe we'll get something new. We like the Fatty Roots in the background, but if we get some new stuff, we'll check it out. Speaking of Reggae Boyz, Bob,
yes.
How about Jamaica? Jamaica nice. Not so nice for the USA last night.
No.
What happened? 2-1, Jamaica stuns the United States in the Gold Cup semifinal round. They got 2 goals in the first half on set pieces. 1 goal you very rarely ever see, a throw-in.
Right.
From down the sideline, about parallel with the top of the box. Guy executes the perfect long throw deep into the box. Jamaican player goes up and heads it over the hand of the goaltender for the first goal. Then the second goal was also something you don't see very often. They had the goalie for the United States was handling the ball, and he stepped over the line when he was throwing it. Rarely is this ever called, but the official did see it and called it. Penalty, so free kick right outside the box, which is actually, if you're closer to the box on a free kick, it's actually more difficult to score because the players are all bunched up. But the guy drilled it over the line, and he got it. The wall did not stand up. They didn't even move. The United States defenders were frozen by this rope, and the goalie couldn't get his hand on it, so they were down 2-0 in the first half. They did score a goal to make it 2-1 3 minutes into the second half, and then had plenty of pressure on the Jamaican players early on, but they kept their cool. They had the positive vibes working. They settled things down, and they kept the ball away from the United States in the last 5 minutes of the game, doing a real nice job. So the Reggae Boyz, first time ever making it to the Gold Cup final. I believe this might have been the first time that the United States had been beaten on home soil by anybody other than Mexico.
Right.
So not a typical scenario for the United States. It was Jamaica going ham in this game, not the United States. Not a good scene. They really wanted this, and if you win this Gold Cup, you get the automatic berth in the Confederation Cup, which takes place next year.
Right.
Now the United States is going to be faced with a playoff situation to get into that tournament, which is another big tournament that they want to be in. So they got their work cut out of them. Speaking of Mexico, Bob, who is paying the officials to get them through to the final? Have you seen their last 2 games?
No, I have not.
What a joke.
Yeah.
Costa Rica gets robbed in the final moments of extra time on a completely ridiculous penalty in the box, setting up a penalty kick for the game winner for Mexico with about a minute left in extra time. Last night in the semifinal against Panama, who was playing with 10 players, a man down, there was a very controversial red card given in this first half of this game. They were playing a man down, and they still ended up going ahead 1-0. A minute and a half left in regulation. Again, a bogus, completely ridiculous penalty called in the box on a handball that was a joke. And they give them the penalty kick to tie the game, forced extra time, and then they call another penalty in the box in the waning moments of extra time. So Mexico gets the penalty kick and they win it 2-1. Unbelievable. They go through to the final and they will play Jamaica. I will full on be rooting for Jamaica and the Reggae Boyz to get it done. Their coach said, we have one more match to play and then it's Bob Marley time. We'll see if they get to play some Bob Marley and fire it up. We'll find out. But so that'll be pretty good. But the United States did not get it done, and they are out. Speaking of getting it done, British Open this weekend, Bob. Cool. Pretty intense. This was a wild scenario. They had rain and high gale force winds on Saturday, which extended the third round into Sunday and the final round into Monday. Very rare that the British Open ends on a Monday, not a Sunday. But when they got that third round going, at one point in the middle of that third round, there was 21 players, Bob, that were within 2 shots of the lead. So it was just a mad dash. And meanwhile, lurking and charging up the leaderboard, Jordan Spieth, who we know was trying to go for the third leg of the Grand Slam after already joining Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods as the only players to win the Masters and the U.S. Open. But he climbed up. He was at -5 going into that third round, quickly moved to -11, put himself right in contention, and then on the final day, he birdies a 50-foot shot on 16 to tie for the lead. Bogeyed 17, however, and then just missed a birdie on 18, so he did not end up in the 3-player 4-hole playoff. Just missed it, but he was just outrageous in his performance. He was going ham all over the course. Anytime he made a mistake, he would come back, he double bogeyed, I think it was 8, and then he birdied 9 and 10. He had that 50-foot birdie, so Jordan Spieth has really been putting on quite a show all season long. but he could not get that third leg. It was Zach Johnson, your winner, who had won the Masters back in 2007. Didn't seem like it was that long ago that he did that. He outlasted Louis Oosthuizen and Mark Leishman, who were in that playoff, 4-hole playoff in the British Open. So he got it done. So hats off to Zach Johnson. But it was a great, really wild ride with all the scrambling to get the rounds completed and everybody being in contention, and Spieth just railing his way up the leaderboard and trying to get it done. But he could not. So, but still a great effort by him. There we see, of course, Tiger Woods, who did not make the cut. We talked about this a little bit last week, Bob, when you weren't there.
Okay.
We weren't here. The media and the obsession with Tiger Woods. Can we get past this?
No, it's still...
I mean, we talked about it last week. It's been 8 years since he won a major.
Right, and they're still acting like he's brand new
Golf,
to the game.
Lives and dies on whether Tiger Woods is competitive.
Right.
You've got a ton of great players out there right now, and they're all young. And, they're guys you could promote, and you could build the game that way. People are tuning into these events even though Tiger's not there because they want to see golf.
Yeah.
They're golf fans. They like golf. And they're watching, and it's compelling action. This was a compelling story. Meanwhile, everybody still wants to talk about Tiger Woods. Get over it. It's a done deal. It's been long time since he won anything of significance. Right. We know all his off the field, off the course problems.
Right.
And now he's just a complete wreck on the course. He can't even make cuts. He shoots 85, 86 in these rounds, and he's horrible. So, I was just begging these media guys to get off the Tiger Woods bandwagon and just start promoting the guys who are playing and playing well. You got great storylines out there, so just get on that. All right, that's it. No more Tiger Woods talk. All right, before we get to some local stuff with the Danbury Titans and the Danbury Westerners, we're on Facebook. We're out there in the YouTube universe, and some of our fans reach out to us via those ways every now and then. And I heard a little word from somebody saying more Tour de France talk. Oh. They were into the cycling. So let's talk a little bit more about Tour de France. It was a big letdown yesterday in the first of the 4 mountain stages. The United States racer TJ Van Garden, who had been in second place for a while and then was in third coming into this final stages, he had to withdraw yesterday, abandon the race. He had illness. Not quite sure. Maybe it was a respiratory infection that they thought they had gotten him over through the weekend. They had the rest day on Tuesday. He came back for the big mountain stages, and he could not go. He was gutting it out for a while, but he kept falling back, and eventually the team car had to come and just take him off the bike. He was basically crying right there on the course. So it was a bad scene for TJ Van Garden, who was really, a big surprise. We mentioned at the start of this Tour de France, there was only 3 United States racers in the whole thing this year, and he was representing quite well and doing an excellent job keeping himself in contention. But he had to fall out, withdrew yesterday.
Who's in the lead right now?
So the guy from Britain maintains the lead, and he's pretty much got a stranglehold on it. All these challengers in the mountains are taking runs at him, and he just continues to be going ham all over France right now, in the mountains, in the breakaways, in the downhills. It doesn't matter. The peloton chases him. He holds them back. The leaders take off for runs for the yellow jersey.
Call.
He holds them back.
We have a first call in.
All right, we got a call. We'll see who it is on the line. Hello, we have a caller on the line. How you doing there, caller?
Sports Buzz people, how are you?
Very well, thank you. Is this our legendary Strange Man Stat of the Week boy coming through?
This is him, and I'm not a happy camper.
Uh-oh. Strange Man sounds down.
Why are you down?
All right, I got 3 things, all right? Oh, by the way, I want to say, are the kids in the studio?
Connor is here, flying solo. No Jenna today.
Hello, Connor. How are you? Hey, listen, I got 3 things.
Here we go.
About the golf quick and
yes.
some other things. Jordan Spieth, he won the first 2 majors, but then he lost his third.
Yes.
Give it a good try, but he was 1 putt out of the 3-player playoff.
Missed that birdie on 18.
Yeah, and
After
the last
bogeying
golfer
17.
to win the first two and then lose the third was Ben Hogan a little while ago.
Ben Hogan.
Years back.
Right.
The second thing is, and probably the Boston Red Sox, this is going to be the highlight.
Oh, boy. We're going to get to the Red Sox.
goes into the Hall this weekend.
That's the only good news coming out of Boston Red Sox camp these days.
And he is, I believe, he is the first inductee to be born in the 70s.
Oh, interesting. That's
Okay,
a stat of the week.
The thing is, last but not least, no more praise for Mike Trout because the first game back, he hit a walk-off homer in the bottom of the ninth against Koji.
Why was Koji in a tie game?
That's what everybody's asking.
Can we talk to John Farrell, strange man?
When the game is tied. Anyway,
He even said that he was. I mean, Koji even said he was surprised to get the call. He wasn't ready. He's the closer. It's a tie game on the road. What is John Farrell doing? He's an idiot.
Yeah, well, hey, maybe that call last night from the Mets manager wasn't a good one.
Yeah,
but he admitted that he made a mistake.
That long. But listen, Scotty, this is war. I'm telling you, no more praise for Anaheim. All right, so listen, take it easy, and if you're live next week, I'll try to get in there.
We'll be on hiatus.
All right?
We will be out next week. I left a DVD down here for you, strange man. It's in my box. You can pick it up when you come in.
Okay, talk to you later, strange man. Over now.
All right, take it easy. Strange man, as displeased as I am with what's going on with the Boston Red Sox. All right, let's finish up the Tour de France talk. Britain's Chris Froome. 2 more mountain stages left. I think he's pretty much got this wrapped up. He's holding a 3-minute lead over second place Colombian Quintana Rojas. Spaniard Belmonte Valverde's 4 minutes out. Of course, we've been waiting for Alberto Contador to make a run, but he remains 6 minutes out. And the defending champion, my guy, Italian Vincenzo Nibali, we thought maybe this would be his last chance to be going ham here in the tournament because he is a mountain climbing specialist, but he has not made up any ground, sits in 7th place, 8 minutes out. This is Chris Froome's Tour de France to lose at this point. And you got to spare me the comments from the all-time greatest doper of all time and liar of all time, Lance Armstrong, questioning Chris Froome's size and says he looks too big to be clean. Lance Armstrong, keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Stay out of the news. Nobody wants to hear from you after you lied for years and years and years. Finally got caught, finally admitted to it. Go hide in a cave somewhere. We don't want to hear from you. You're a disgrace. All right, that's it on the Tour de France. We'll see who wins it this weekend. I'm guessing Chris Froome is going to have this thing wrapped up. All right, big news. We mentioned it quick the other week. So the Danbury Whalers situation is this. Tomorrow they have the press conference.
Yes, they do.
Unveiling the new name and logo, Danbury Titans, which we like. I like the Titans as a name. That's a good name.
I had some conversation already with Phil Esposito, who is back.
And so the coach of the Whalers remains here in Danbury for the new Titans. The players will be put into a draft. I would imagine they'll be able to draft some of those. They'll lose some, though. Bruce Bennett is the guy, Bruce Bennett Nissan. And so the situation with the Brewster team, the State Line Whalers, the Whalers franchise, which had apparently moved across the border, now is moved to Danville, Ohio. So the old Whalers team is not across the border, but you're saying Bruce Bennett has bought another team, and that will be in Brewster.
Yes, and that'll be the Brewster Bulldogs.
Brewster Bulldogs. So there will be a crosstown rival.
Right.
A border war will ensue in the FHL next season. So that's pretty good news. I kind of like that whole situation. So that's the deal with the Whalers. Speaking of the other local team, the Westerners, who had really recovered quite well after their horrific
beautiful 4-game wins.
1-13 start. They moved themselves to 11-21 at this point. 10-8 in their last 18. They had won 4 in a row. Big loss last night, though, 7-0 at home.
The biggest problem was Tuesday night.
The rain?
Yeah. Well,
the
rain that we didn't get. All of a sudden, both teams were ready to play. We had the first 2 pitches out, and the umpires saw a little lightning out in the far end of the park, and they go, okay, well, we're going to call a game. And we had like 400 kids down there, packed with the house, and now we have to have the doubleheader next week. We have a doubleheader away on Saturday and a doubleheader next Friday.
Yeah,
so we're going to
doubleheaders all over the place.
Yeah.
8 games left, 3 doubleheaders you mentioned. They're 4.5 out of the playoffs, which will be a pretty tough thing for them to do at this point with only 8 games left. But give them credit for playing well down the stretch, even despite last night's loss. They're home on Friday of this week, home on Monday, Wednesday, and then the doubleheader final home games next Friday.
Yeah.
So that's when they'll be home. So go down, support them. You never know. Maybe they win 8 in a row.
Yeah. And
they just won 4 in a row, double
the
that.
last home game of the season?
Is the doubleheader against who's that?
We have a
Plymouth?
doubleheader. I think it's against Mystic.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
And
What's going on? Anything special event that day?
Yeah, it's Snyder night. It's a New York Racing Association.
The
night.
Racing
So we will have
Association.
cars there, and we'll have some.
So get on down, see
guys
the old
come on
classic
down.
cars and the race drivers, and support the team. Good night down at Rogers Park. All right, let's get into Major League Baseball and the Dead Sox, losers of 7 in a row. A fine way to come out of the All-Star break.
Oh, yeah, they
Everybody
came out
was
with
all giddy with their performance. They were about, 13-8 over a 20-game stretch before the All-Star break, but they lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees at Fenway Park. We know the Yankees swept them there earlier in the season, so that means, quick math, they've lost 5 of 6 at home to the Yankees this year, which is unacceptable on every level. They had a chance, if they had won that last rubber game of the Yankees series, to go into the All-Star break 3 games below 500 instead of 5.
Right.
That would have been a big deal. Instead, they don't. They head out west. They proceed to get shut out in back-to-back games of the first 2 in Anaheim. And then how about this? Here's a stat of the week. They get rained out in Anaheim. Shocking development. When was the last time
it actually rained in California?
Last time that the Anaheim Angels were ever rained out.
Right.
1995.
Wow.
So the Red Sox get rained out after getting shut out for 2 games in a row. They come back and get pummeled in a doubleheader and get 4-game sweep out there. And now they've lost the first 2 of the Houston series. They are dead, buried, done. 42-53, 11.5 games out of the first place Yankees, 8.5 out of the wild card spot. I mean, Pedroia, Big Papi, Kung Fu Panda, Hanram, it doesn't matter who we're talking about. I could just call them all Joe Schmoe, and this is team blah, blah, blah. They're just ridiculous. They're not worth anybody's time.
Before the trade deadline, you think they'll make any trades?
Well, they got to be sellers. I mean, it's unbelievable. The media up there is talking about Pablo Sandoval and Hanley Ramirez need to be traded. They just pulled off the miracle of all miracles 3 years ago, trading Crawford and Alex Gonzalez, who had those huge contracts that they brought in. They were albatrosses. Somehow they got rid of those guys and Josh Beckett, who they re-signed for no reason. And they pulled that miracle off. It got them a World Series because they went out and got good, gritty, gutty players that the Boston fans enjoy and can play in that melting pot up there.
Right.
So what do? They go back to that formula, bringing in big guns for huge money, and now they're going to have to try to trade those guys. They got so lucky to be able to trade those other guys. Now they have to do it again. I mean, Cherington needs to be fired yesterday. Farrell needed to be fired last week. Get these guys out of Boston. Here's another stat for you, Bob. The Red Sox, perennial contenders, correct? How many years in the past 7 have they had a single victory in a playoff game? 7 years. They're contenders every year, right?
Right.
Once. The one time when they went and won the World Series, thankfully. Other than that, they have had losing seasons every time. In 7 years, they had the epic collapse that got Tito Francona fired. They finished last place with Bobby Valentine before the World Series. Now they're on the verge of finishing last place for the 2nd straight year after last year falling to last place. It's a disgrace. They have this, mirage that they're contending every year. They only made the playoffs once in 7 years. It's unbelievable. And they're throwing money around like it's crazy. Just completely ridiculous. So they are totally dead. I did not want to speak about them at all. I said we're not going to talk about them unless they got themselves to 10 games over 500. Now they're about to be 10 games below 500, so we got to talk about them again. So they're so bad.
At least it's not quite as bad as the.
And meanwhile,
Celtics,
the Yankees get to run away with the division.
Right.
Because everybody else stinks. Toronto's second place. They're 500 team, 48 and 48. The whole division's below 500, Bob. The AL East, which used to be the top, division in baseball, is terrible. Nobody's going ham in that division at all. And if you think a Yankee fan, if you think your Yankees are going ham, they're not going ham at all. They are mediocre beyond words. They're just beating up on terrible teams in that division, sitting at 53 and 41, winning low-scoring games. Their pitching staff, you cannot trust CeCe in a big spot. Tanaka's got an arm that's about to fall off. Nova just came back from surgery. I mean, their bullpen is good. I know that. Ellsbury's just back, but he'll be hurt again. Beltran's about 50 years old.
Yeah.
A-Ride's probably on steroids again. Got some new form of, performance-enhancing drugs. He's ridiculous.
They were talking to him today.
Who was talking to him today?
The media.
Oh, well, of course they're talking to him because they're in first place. He's kept his mouth shut. He's been a good team player all year. Everybody's loving him again. It's ridiculous, but they're not going to get past the other teams.
Record and all the other bullshit,
Hey, watch out, Bob. Jeez. Hold on a second. We're live here. Kansas City, 57 and 36, the top team in the American League. They just beat up on the Pirates the last two games, which were the surprising team out in the National League. They maintain a 7.5 game lead on the Twins, who are in the fight for the playoffs. Right. Wild card, 50 and 44. Tigers, what is going on with Detroit? Panic in Detroit. They're looking to sell, and your Mets need to be the guys buying.
I know. We're in.
Yoenis Cespedes, the Cuban, who I think the Red Sox should have kept last year. He's on the trading block. Your Mets need to make a move, Bob. Are they going to do it? Are the Mets going to go and actually spend some money?
I doubt it.
I mean, go get Cespedes.
We're not going to spend any money.
They need another bat. This guy's great, and he's an awesome defensive player as well. Your Mets lost 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. Brutal loss last night, blowing that lead. They sit 49 and 46, 3 behind the Nationals at 51 and 42. So they're actually, I believe, closer, kind of close, similar to the wild card. The Cubs are at 51 and 43. And you got the Giants, who are now 8-2 in their last 10 after they stumbled before the All-Star break, moving back up that ranks at 51 and 44. So it's the Nationals' first place team. Cardinals, we know, 60 and 34, best team in all of baseball. And the Pirates have fallen 6 games behind them at 54 and 40. Dodgers out west holding off the Giants 2.5 games up at 54 and 42. Did we run out of time suddenly?
Yeah.
Are we sure about that? We've been getting mixed signals in the last few weeks as far as time goes.
We're out of time.
I don't see. I mean, my clock says we got another minute or so. Are they forcing us out early again? All right, we are not live next week. We will have a special airing next week on Old Time Baseball in Boston. I will be off on vacation celebrating my anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Enjoying it at a nice wedding, and then spending the week away in Newport. So that'll be wonderful, and then we will be back next week. There go the credits. We are out of time.
Yeah.
See ya.